Welcome to Beyond Broth's first summit, Nurturing a New World from Chaos to Goodness. I'm Grace Ventura, founder of Beyond Broth, and today, as we kick off this brilliant, awesome event, I have with me my CEO, Sarah Bird. I should say Beyond Broth CEO, but I feel like she's mine because she has given me just, wow, since you've come on board, it's really just shifted everything. And I feel so much gratitude, so much gratitude. So Sarah, she's come from an extensive background in the natural food industry. And really, I find that we're a great balance. We are a great balance because, of course, I've come from being a health coach and massage therapist and yoga teacher and more in one-on-one service industry kind of thing in the wellness industry. And where we've come together, that has really just balanced. It's create, to me, a lot of balance. Mm-hmm. She learns from me, I'm sure, and I learn from her all the time. And I am
so true.
Yes. Would you like to add something?
Yeah, I'd love to add. I am honored to be here, to be part of the team at Beyond Broth and Grace's Good Food. It's been an incredible opportunity for me, and I am so excited about this summit and the learning that we are all going to get from these next couple of days. I think there's so much I personally can learn, and I hope you all come away with that same sense. I learn from Grace every day. As she said, we come at things very differently, but we work wonderfully well, I think, together. And anyway, this is going to add to me a dimension that I know needs more refinement. So anyway, thrilled to be here and thrilled to share this with all of you.
Thank you. So what I thought I would do is just take a few minutes and pose some questions to both of us that are the kind of the background of this summit and where we're going and where we're coming from. So the first one that I have is why we are doing this as a food brand. I think it's a question that some people may have. So I'll give that to you first.
All right. I'm going to start kind of bigger picture than Beyond Broth. I've been in the food industry for many years, and I have come to appreciate how important good food is to your overall wellness. So I've been working on organic foods for maybe 20 years. And I think that the quality of what you consume so impacts how well you are and how well you function. And so I think Beyond Broth, as Grace will talk about, I'm sure momentarily, are these packets of just goodness that help you be your best self. And that's one of the things that drew me to this opportunity. And I can't underscore enough how important food is to staying well, being well.
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. Where I've come from is, as I said, the wellness industry. So I supported people for over 30 years in self-care and in finding ways to feel good in their bodies, in themselves. And it very much a holistic approach. So it's not just, it is food, but I also think about the food we feed ourselves is not just physical food, but energy food, emotional food, how we take things in from other people, from the environment. And that food, to me, if it is tainted, if you will, if it's loaded with junk, on so many levels, it's poison to our system, our whole system. And for me, as a food brand, it's an extension of all of these other things, all of these other ways that are so important. Everything works together. We're not just one thing. We're a whole organism. And the planet is, we're a part of this planet's organism. So it's everything to me. That's how we have to balance inside of ourselves, how we have to find balance is inside, outside, how we're interacting and what we're feeding ourselves on all levels. So to me, as a food brand, this is all about self-care. It's all about really how we are caring for ourselves and wanting people to feel really good on all levels because it's our birthright. So that's my thought about it. Okay, so the second question I have is, what is your perspective of how, as a humanity, we've gotten to where we are? And second part of it is, what is in the way to where we, what would be more balanced, where we would want to go next from this chaos to goodness?
In terms of how we've gotten to where we are, I think a big part of it is this: that we're in this always on mode. Part of it is technology, which we need and thrive on, but it also means you're just full to the brim always. I feel you can never kind of, or it's hard to turn off. And so I think the more frenzied and the more full your life becomes, with whether it's family, work, whatever, the things that pull at you, it's hard, I think, sometimes to step back and take care of yourself, which is the most important thing. Then I think that's what prevents, to your question, what prevents us from being, I guess your question again, Grace, was what prevents us from
Getting where
getting where we've got this balance. It's hard to stop. It's hard. I know personally, the thing that I'm most likely to carve out time for is me. I thrive on giving to others, and so it's hard to stop and not feel selfish by carving out time for me. And so I think that's what personally gets in the way, and I imagine that's true for many others.
Yes. As someone who has been a coach to people who, have the moms out there, so many moms I've been a coach to, how we often give so much to our families and our children, and we want to, it's all from a good place. Sometimes we also believe we have to, that there are certain things we have to do, and lose track of a balance, I guess, is a good way to say it. So from my point of view, how we have gotten to where we are, I think it is an age-old problem. I think it starts very young and of course, it's generational, how people have been taught that they should be, how a mother or a parent should be, how all the shoulds that have been put on us, that we lose track of, well, what's true here? What do I feel I need to do? I need to take a nap right now. I need a glass of water right now. Just simple things that I think we don't even tend to, because we lose track. We get caught up in what we're doing. We're so distracted as a society. There's so much input. There's so much out there of being told the ways that we should be that I feel we get disconnected. And in that, not listening to ourselves, and so much is outside of ourselves, we lose track. I I hear you, you know, there's the flip side around being selfish. And I think so many people have gotten caught up in that concept that I'm being selfish if I take care of myself, if I take, you know, this hour, not even hour, 15 minutes, you know, just whatever it is, we believe that it's selfish. And I think it's a distortion. I think it's really a distortion, and that's so much of what you'll hear in the next 3 days is how we can get ourselves back, how we can listen and take the time to be here with ourselves. And then we have more energy for everything we love to give to. And you know, it's like even this summit to me, it gives me energy to share others. It gives me energy to support and to want to create a better world. It makes me inspired and touches me very deeply. So, and I have to take care of myself.
And I think you are wonderful at doing that, Grace. You, and I know you work very hard at it, at having that balance in your life. It's really a skill and a gift that you have. And I think as a mom of 6, you knew early on, you figured out early on you had to do that, otherwise you'd lose your buttons. And I think so you've done it well. And I want to come back to the word selfish because I want to be careful about that. Because I think that's my own baggage, but it kind of gets back to what you said earlier about the shoulds in life. And it also reminds me of something that I learned when I was in a new moms group after having had my first child. And the woman leading that said, mothers are like a basket of apples. People are always taking an apple from your basket, and you need to make sure your basket stays full. And I have not yet. There's some things I do that definitely put gas in my tank, but I don't think I know. I feel like I have enough tools in my box to know how I quickly replenish that basket of apples. And so back to the summit, I'm very excited to see what new tools I can deduce from this that will help me keep that basket of apples full and facilitate my achieving the balance that I know I need and I want in my life.
Yes.
So
Beautiful. Yay. That's exciting. And boy, we have some great apples. We have peaches, we have plums, mangoes. Yeah, we have so much nourishment coming. It's really exciting. Thank you for that. And one more thing, one more last question I'd like to include here is what would it look like regarding a shift in the consciousness or in self-care? You've touched on it a little bit. And regarding also relating to one another and the planet. You know, what kinds of shifts do you see need to be happening?
We are in such a tumultuous time right now, back to the theme of this summit, this chaos to goodness. And when you think about COVID and the Black Lives Matter movement and all the political turmoil that's going on right now, there's just so much angst and anger. And I think what we need to do more of is listen and empathize, be more understanding of one another, and be more present. And that gets back to, I think, this idea of balance. Pausing a little bit, maybe on the things that just, at least I know that I'm head down charging forward. But I think if I slow down a little bit and again, be more present and understanding of others, that kindness and goodness will come through for all of us and make the world a happier place. There's so much good that's going on right now, and we just need to collectively realize that. And again, I'm hoping the tools that we all take away from this help each of us do a little bit more in that journey of helping to make the world a better place.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you. All right, Mallory, we're going to cut there for a second because there's a trash truck out there and I think it's loud. That's better. My goodness. There. I hope that that wasn't heard when you
There's a little bit of beeping, but I don't think it was
okay.
much.
Okay.
Fine.
All right. Okay, so I will put that question to myself. What would it need to really, what is the consciousness shift? And I've spoken to this in terms of the values of goodness and kindness and generosity and understanding, compassion, love. Those values have to first be turned inward to ourselves. Be good to yourself, be kind to yourself, be understanding and compassionate and generous, and loving to yourself, instead of all the negative self-talk that is often perpetually happening through our lives. And then it gets spewed out onto others. Because if we're not being good and kind to ourselves, it takes more effort to be that way with those that are your loved ones and even people you work with. Your temper might get short because you're somehow, I really feel it begins with this self-care concept of how loving and kind we can be and how we treat ourselves, instead of going into negative patterns and just abuse. I think it's abusive how we can be to ourselves. And to me, those values and how we can create a shift in this world is by then, when you're filled up with love and good feelings, you want to share it. Watch a little kid, I've been hanging around with my grandkids a bit, and I just watch my granddaughter who's 3. She just wants to share and give. And I remember myself as a little one, always wanting to pick a flower and give it to someone. I always wanted to, if I made something, I wanted to share it. And I think that's true, that when we feel goodness inside, we want to share it outside of ourselves. And it begins right here at home, in our families, and then outward to the planet, to how we treat everything on this planet.
A lot to unpack or to fill in there, but I want to come to the idea about giving to yourself before you give to others. And I guess I feel I am motivated by giving and caring for others. I get great satisfaction from that. I think the piece, so I don't have issues with so much anger around that and whatever. It's more carving out the time for myself to give to myself, to balance the giving to others, or to allow me to keep giving to others. And I don't know if that makes sense, but I take great satisfaction in nurturing others, and it's really but I know I need to nurture myself more. So that's what I'm seeking guidance on, and you are so good at that, Grace. And again, I'm looking forward to learning more as to how one does it. How do you feather that into how you exist day in, day out?
It's interesting because as you were talking, I was visualizing this wheel and you're on this wheel, and who's to say where on the wheel it's giving to yourself first? I don't know if it's first, it's second. I don't know where it is, but all I know is it happens, that we get burned out, and then you got to get back to yourself. And it's a give and take. It's a constant that's happening. It's not doing this first. It's more, that's not what I was meaning. It's more of we're in life, and we're in the give and take, the flow of the inhale, exhale. You know, we're in that process from birth till we die. And I think if your mind tells you, oh, we've just stopped, and here, I'm doing this, that means I'm giving to myself first, and therefore I'm selfish. I think that's the mind tripping you up. I don't think, who knows where we are on, you know what I mean?
No, that makes great sense. Yeah, and it's not a linear thing. It's not sequential. It's not like you have to do this and then that.
Right.
They should be intertwined.
Exactly.
And I think back to where we began about, you know, why don't we do more of this? I think in this always on, it's you're checking things off your list, or you're doing what I think you should do, which is what you talked about earlier, versus what I need to do to care, to make sure those things are balanced, that they're not sequential. Like, don't do the shoulds first and then think, oh, I'll eventually get to the nice to do's. The taking care of yourself is not a nice to do. It's as important as all those other things.
Yeah, I think what it comes down to is priorities. You know, it's like, how do you make your choices? What are those choices based on? If they're based on a concept that if you give to yourself, you're selfish, that no matter what, you'll never be able to ascend from that or transcend that, because it will always be about the same issue. Instead of, what are the priorities in life? What are your priorities? And then you can base your choices on those priorities, understanding what it would take to, for example, not burn out. Like, I love giving. And as a massage therapist, it was a constant. As a mother, it's a constant. As a, you know, being in the world and wanting to make it a better place, it's a constant kind of thing. So there have to be some guidelines from at the very base of your own values, ethics, morals, priorities. There has to be that, you know, where does this all come from? What is the basis of what we've been taught? And were those values the right ones for me? Or should I question them and say, well, maybe it doesn't mean if I give to myself, it's selfish. Maybe it means I deserve to be, I am human, I am here, and I want to feel good. It's my birthright to feel joyful and happy and healthy and taken care of, you know, supported. It's my birthright to feel those values. And it has to begin with me taking responsibility and not expecting someone else to do it, but me taking responsibility for myself first. And then I could take responsibility for my relationships, my part of it, not the whole world, but just what's here, and what, you know, is in alignment with my integrity and my mission and my purpose and my, you know, what is that? What are all of those things? Why am I here? I mean, these are big questions, right? So, you know, but just to start at the basic, what are my values? What are my priorities?
It's a great kind of centerpiece question, or grounding, you know, set of questions to have. And I don't know in this summit if we're covering that. Actually, that might be something when we do this next time. That might be something to add, is how do you how do you really make sure you step back and set those goals, intentions for yourself to become your North Star? Because I think what we're going to get from this are the tools that help you chip away at it, but maybe there's a North Star exercise we can add at a point in time.
Yes. Well, I think that there are many conversations in this summit that do, they support finding that place. And I look forward to, at the end of the summit, having a conversation with you again and just seeing what you have received from it. And everyone that's here, I'm really excited to just embark on this with all of you. And thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate it. It's so inspiring to hear you, and thank you for your openness and sharing with everyone, because that to me is the beginning. That is where we need to go for a shift in consciousness, is that willingness to be open and honest and see what's going on in here, how we think about life and what sorts of things we personally would like, we see where we want to go to. And it's a matter of figuring out, well, how do we do that? And I think you've mentioned the word overwhelming, that sometimes it's so overwhelming, that there's so much out there. So we're hoping that the perspectives and tools that we're offering here can give you a jump start, some guidance, support, and we will be certainly, I love the idea of where we're going next, but we're not there yet. So let's just do this one first. And again, thank you so much. I'm just so grateful for you in my life and Beyond Broth and all that it's giving to the world. So
thank you, Grace, for your vision for this. I am so excited for what the summit holds for all of us. Anyway, it's just a gift. So as you are. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, everyone, here we go.
Just as we connect our breaths and our hearts, I want to set just a quick intention that the dance we're going to have around this topic will really, really empower and awaken those who listen and those who connect with the ones who listen. And that this has an incredibly powerful ripple effect. And also with all the other speakers and the work that you're doing and the work that I'm doing in the world, that as collaborators, that we join forces to really create transmutation and transformation on the planet at this time for the highest good.